What's really good? What's really good? What's really good? Welcome back to another Wednesday night with the Sanchez Show. As always, I'm your host, Eric Sanchez, aka Legend in Two Games. Make sure you are subscribed to the podcast. Shoot me a like, shoot me a comment. See my social media handle there. Make sure you are locked and engaged with me. Shoot me a follow as well. Certain questions, topics, any conversation you want to have, you can hit me up on social media or through the podcast. We're live everywhere. Again, Wednesday night, 7:30 p.m. Instagram, Kick, Facebook, YouTube. We everywhere you watch a podcast, man. And stay tuned because we are going to be ramping up. When I say we, I mean me, really. We're going to be ramping up the schedule. More episodes coming up as we get into the NFL season. So it won't just be Wednesday night. It'll be other nights throughout the week. There's going to be a morning show that I include in there as well. So I just want you guys to subscribe, stay locked in with me, and keep rocking with me, man. Shout out to the comment section. I see the comment section going up right now. Greatly appreciate it. Just making sure everything's set up over on Facebook. All right, let's get to it. Shout out to the comment section. We got a lot to get into. We're gonna go through all the questions, all the comments. At some point tonight, my brother Will Gordon will be joining me. If you guys missed Monday's episode of Real Fans Real Talk, it's up in the archives. If you're not subscribed already, go over there. Check it out. That was a great episode. Some great conversations over there as well. But let's get to a couple of these questions. Let's get to a lot of stuff tonight. Shout out to Christopher Little. We're going to get into the Stephen A. Smith conversation tonight. It's going to happen. I thought we were going to talk about it on Monday, but then it was brought up in the comment section. So I did tell Will Gordon we're going to get into it tonight. Got a lot of thoughts. Got a lot to unpack with that whole situation with Stephen A. Smith and the NABJ. Really something that started off very small and probably I don't think should have got much headlines has now taken on a life of its own. You got a lot of people reacting to it. You have other celebrities kind of joining the conversation. The comment section on these posts is getting kind of crazy because you have some people who, point blank period, let's call it what it is. A lot of people really don't like Stephen A. Smith. And he's an easy target. So now you have the people who already didn't like him get the opportunity to throw their jabs at him. On the flip side, you have some people who I don't want to say are defending Stephen A. Smith. I think they're really looking at the situation and how it played out. And that's really the conversation I want to have tonight because I'm not viewing it from the standpoint of defending Stephen A. Smith. I just think the way the situation played out really speaks to how social media can affect people's perception of you or affect how people want to react and respond to you. So we're going to get to all that in a second. But let's see what we got here. Let's get to some of these comments. The first comment tonight was baseball, so we're going to start. Shout out to Squeeze. He says, PCA and Ohtani. For those that you don't know, he's talking about Pete Crow Armstrong of the Chicago Cubs and Shohei Ohtani of the Dodgers. Both homer for second straight day, who has a strong MVP case for the NL MVP. This is a great, great conversation. These two men have really separated themselves from the rest of the field. Now, excuse me, there's some other people in the National League who are having good years. There's a guy down here in DC, CJ Abrams, who's having a really good year. You got Kyle Schwarber, who's having a good year with the power numbers. But these two guys, in terms of across the board consistency, have been the best two guys. Dodgers have the best record. Just to give you guys some background, I do think Pete Crow Armstrong should be the leader for MVP. And here's why. Statistically, their numbers are pretty even. Like very even. You're talking about Pete Crow Armstrong, who's batting 279 with 31 home runs, 79 RBIs, and OPS of 928, right? His power numbers, OPS numbers are all top 10. His average puts him outside the top 10. Shohei is 294 batting average, so he's 10th in the National League, 30 home runs, 80 RBIs, OPS of 949. So his power numbers, again, right in line. To me, what really separates them is the WAR. Wins above replacement. And right now, PCA is a 7.8. It's number one in the National League. Shohei is a 3.9. He's not even the best WAR on his own team. We know the Dodgers team is stacked. We know Shohei is a great, great player. But it just feels like the impact that Pete Crow Armstrong is having outweighs the impact that Shohei is having. And it also speaks to the fact that if you took Shohei off the Dodgers, they would still be a good team. But if you take Pete Crow Armstrong off of the Cubs, right now they're second place team. They probably aren't even that. And the WAR speaks to that. That's why WAR in baseball, wins above replacement, is so important because it speaks to your impact in comparison to every other player at that position. So for him to be number one in that, I think is the difference maker in this conversation. That's why I like him to be the National League MVP. Still some time left. Obviously, if Joey really separates himself with the power numbers, with the home runs, with the RBIs, that changes things. I mentioned CJ Abrams. He does have a better WAR than Shohei Ohtani. He's got a great batting average, 280, 29 home runs, the 91 RBIs. His OPS is not as impressive as those two guys. But I do think he's having a great year. The problem is you're not going to win MVP unless you are a legitimate playoff contender. Right now, the Nats are battling for their life to make the wild card. So that's going to hinder him in being in that conversation. That's really why it's coming down to these two guys, I think, right now. Angel Pagas, also with the Dodgers, is another name that's going to get thrown around. But again, his impact, I don't think, even though his WAR is greater than Ohtani, I don't think he has a larger impact on the Dodgers than Ohtani does. Ohtani at the top of that line kind of sets the table there. So PCA to me would be the guy. Ohtani would be a close second. Tone says, Aiden Hutchinson on lines pass rush. We have any answer for everything now. I don't know how true that is. Now, I like the Lions to be a playoff team this year. It's going to be one of the parlays that I kind of introduce you guys. I've been giving you some player props. I have a team prop that I'm going to introduce this upcoming week, a 3-team prop for teams to win their division. Spoiler alert, the Lions are one of those teams I think are going to bounce back this year and win their division. That offense is very, very explosive. I think Jahmyr Gibbs has an MVP caliber season. I think they have got two great wide receivers. The defense has to be healthy. But in terms of the pass rush alone, Aiden Hutchinson is special. Aiden is the guy that really drives things for this pass rush and this defense. But there's a lot of unknowns there. They got a second-round rookie and an undrafted rookie right now that are getting a lot of snaps on their defensive line. And it looks like those are going to be the guys that go with. So I don't know if he really confidently can say we have any answer for everything now. I think maybe he's got high hopes for what they can do. I think he's anticipating that these young guys are going to play really, really well. But I wouldn't go that far. I think there's still a lot to prove with this defensive line of the Detroit Lions. Tone also on the next question. Trip, once you're ready, man, give me a thumbs up, bro. My brother Trip Young in the building on a Wednesday night. Trip, what's good, bro?
What's going on, man?
Ain't nothing much, man. We get to some of the questions right here. Before we get into the Stephen A. Smith conversation, a lot has been made. It's already in the comment section. I believe Christopher Little put it in there as well, so I know we got to talk about that. But this question specifically, Jaden Higgins of the Texans suffered a torn ACL in practice. Will miss the entire season this year. Any thoughts on this particular injury for the Texans?
I mean, he's out for the year. That's going to be tough for any team. You know, I mean, it sucks. I mean, what are you going to do, man? It's done for the year. It's crazy, but it happens. We see it all the time.
Yeah, it's a tough injury for the Texans because their receiving core that's really always hurt. We know Nico Collins is in and out the lineup. He's in the lineup, it's great, but he's had some injuries. Tank Dell missed all of last season, and now Jaden Higgins, who last year, his rookie year, had over 500 yards receiving, had 6 touchdowns, was becoming a guy that was really integrated into the offense. Now he's out, and they were hoping he would be their number 3 receiver. So it puts a lot of pressure on their 1-2 guys who already have an extensive injury history. But it also sucks for the young man. Again, going into your second year, you have high hopes that you're going to continue to produce and be a part of this offense, and now you're out.
Mm-hmm.
Christopher Little wants to know, Baker Mayfield. We're going to shock a lot of people this year. Do you like Baker's optimism, Trey?
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't I want my quarterback to have that kind of confidence? So, yeah, I love it. Now, whether or not, that actually happens is, to be determined. But, I love that confidence for my quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, I like his optimism. You need that, right? Again, if you're asking, do I agree with that? I wouldn't say I agree with that. I don't think they're going to shock a lot of people. But
yeah.
I understand his point of view. I mean, he's playing for a contract. You got a head coach whose job might be on the line. You got a lot of veterans on that team who might be wondering if, they're going to be here next year. So he's trying to keep everybody optimistic and upbeat. But do I like his optimism? Yes. Do I believe it? No. We'll say that. Will Gordon's in the building, rocking his Olivia Miles jersey. Will, what's good, bro?
What it do, baby? What up, fellas?
What up?
What's good, bro? How's everything?
Everything's everything, man. What's up, supporters? How y'all doing? I think y'all was rocking in the comment section early tonight. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. Listen,
Freeway voice.
we going through all these questions because then we gonna get to the Stephen A. stuff. We gonna get to the Kawhi stuff too. I saw somebody put the question out there about Kawhi, so I'm gonna save those after we get all these other questions out the way. Will, this one's specifically for you. Me and Trip talked about this on Monday. Who wants to get your thoughts? She goes, she still has Asia Wilson winning the MVP. Give me your sales pitch on why Olivia Miles should win it over Wilson.
All right. Let me first start by saying, let me say Asia Wilson is the most complete and best basketball player in the WNBA. And that can't be denied, that can't be argued. But we're not talking about who's the best player in the WNBA. We're talking about the most valuable player. That's what the award is called. And when it comes to Olivia Miles, since she's walked through the door, she's had more responsibility than any other rookie that I can remember in a very long time. She's had the weight of the franchise on her back with them missing Nafisa Collier, who got injured in the playoffs last year and missed the first 27 games this season. We talk about Nafisa Collier, who was second to said Asia Wilson in the MVP race last year. All Olivia Miles has done has played like a seasoned vet and ran this team like a well-oiled machine to the number one record in the league by I think it's by about 4 or 5 games now. And you would have never knew Nafisa was gone. Oh, and by the way, when we talk about head-up competition, when they saw each other, especially, and it's been very recent. It's not recency bias, but it's we just saw this in the last 2 weeks. Olivia Miles stepped on the court with Asia and looked like the all-star that she is, and came away with dubs in both situations, and outplayed Asia in clutch moments in both games. So when we talk about value to the team, we talk about head-up competition. And then one thing I don't agree with, but what is real is voter fatigue. Asia's got 4 of them things. And with the phenomenon that Miss Miles is, and with everything I just said, I don't know how she's not your MVP.
I agree with, like you said, the end of that. They their matchups recently, to me, just changed everything. I had Asia. I just think that once they matched up the last 2 times with Olivia Miles, her performance in the fourth quarter in clutch time, that to me just gave it an edge. I thought prior to that, it was 50-50. You can go either way. But once you win those close games, and as you highlight, once you look at the way Asia kind of faded in the fourth quarter, especially in that second game, it's tough to say Olivia is not the MVP. But Trip, you got anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think, at this point, and this is something we spoke about a couple of weeks ago, she still had time to, create these moments, and then so what happens with that is now the Aces are also struggling a little bit right now too, and they're taking losses to playoff teams. So as she's going up, Aces, been looking shaky. They lost was it to Atlanta the other night? They lost to Minnesota. So, with her going down, it's not necessarily individually, but the team being 5-5 in their last 10 games, and then Olivia Miles playing the way she's been playing, and them, on the uptick, she was able to. I believe she's able to swing the MVP vote.
Yeah, that's a fact.
And she's still, for the gamblers out there, she's still, I looked it up earlier, she's still plus 1,000 to win MVP. So, you know what I'm saying? If you wanna throw a little dollar, throw $10 at it, you might get in there while it's getting still good before that thing swing.
Pause. Who said I wanted the Aces are more of a playoff series type team than regular season. They've been having head scratching losses. Can Aces beat Lynx this year playoff time? I mean, that's a fair statement, because you got to remember the Aces have had some deep playoff runs recently, right? So veteran teams like that, they don't put as much emphasis on the regular season, and that's not to knock what the Lynx are doing. I don't want to make it seem like, oh, it means more to the Lynx. It's just when you're a team like the Aces, you do kind of conserve some energy and understand that, all right, come playoff time, we got to flip that switch. Whereas Minnesota is still trying to prove who they are as a young team. So maybe they are at this point. Maybe they are more of a playoff team.
Lynx got a big one tonight, but I think they're gonna take one on the chin tonight. They're gonna the Valkyries have been playing excellent ball and been really hot. So I expect a little letdown from Minnesota tonight.
Kyrie, we're gonna get to Kawhi stuff as well. Like I said, we're gonna get through all the questions and we're gonna to the Stephen A conversation. We're gonna get to this Kawhi Leonard stuff. There's more information that's starting to come out, not only about Kawhi Leonard, about this Lakers sale from Mark Walters. Fellas, I don't know if y'all heard. It looked like Mark Walters is going to jail, bro, for insurance fraud. And there's already conversations that he's going to sell he obviously sold the Lakers. This conversation he's going to sell his stake in the Dodgers as well. There's real heat coming down from the DOJ regarding Mark Walters and how he was able to put the money together just to buy a pro team. But we'll get to that in a second. We're going to talk about that with the Kawhi situation. Squeeze, we gave our thoughts on Monday about the Clarissa fight. Trip and I talked about it. You know, it's hard to be impressed, and that's not a knock on Clarissa Shields. Clarissa is great, but it's just at a point where she doesn't have a rival, she doesn't have an equal. So it's tough to really gauge, you know, how great she is or how excited we are about any of these fights. But we definitely got into that on Monday.
Her music video is more entertaining than that fight. Have you all seen that video?
Her music is trash.
Have you seen the video, dog? It looks like a sketch of a video.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like somebody making fun of a video. Is what her video looks like, man.
Trip and I were talking about this because it's like, yo, first of all, I don't know why Papoose is even co-signing this, the music thing. Secondly, I don't understand her infatuation with trying to push this narrative of like, I'm a musician. You're not a musician. It's cool. You could love music, you could love the culture without trying to be a rapper.
Well, when you got the money to do it, you know what I'm saying? When you got the studio at the crib.
I don't mean it's gonna be good.
It's like you said, that's why the video looks
all right. Yeah, the video is hilarious. Y'all, if y'all ain't seen it, go YouTube that joint after you watch the show tonight. That video is hilarious. It looks like a Saturday Night Live sketch.
True. Kyrie wants to know more likely have to reach the Super Bowl again or miss the playoffs. These are your two options. Either they're going back to the Super Bowl or they're missing the playoffs. Trip, which way would you go?
I think it's more likely they go back to the Super Bowl than miss the playoffs. I just think the A.J. Brown addition is going to make them so much better than they were last season. They already had a good defense. They had a solid running game. We saw the improvement in Drake May. And now you talking about you're going to add a number one receiver, a legit number one. I think it's more likely they get back to a Super Bowl than miss the playoffs.
Well, what you think?
I think the opposite. I think they're more likely to miss the playoffs and go back to the Super Bowl. I think we kind of overselling A.J. Brown. Yeah, he's on paper, he's a number one receiver, but you ain't been that lately, dog. Like if a Super Bowl winning quarterback was having problems getting you the football and you weren't working in the Florida offense and a Super Bowl winning offense, then why should I think the Drake May, who I think is a less quarterback than my man in Philly, why do I think you're gonna ball out with him? So that was with a better threat on the opposite side of you, taking away defensive attention. So I would say that they'd be less likely to make the playoffs than to go back to the Super Bowl. I don't think they should have been there last year. I think they rode a wave. I'm going opposite on that.
Well, they caught the perfect storm because Kansas City wasn't in the playoffs. Buffalo loses that Denver game. Baltimore's not there. We know those have been the best three teams pretty much in the AFC the last couple of years, right? The Patriots didn't have to beat any of those teams. But purely for the sake of this question, I think it is more likely that they get to a Super Bowl than miss the playoffs. They're not going to miss the playoffs. The team is too good. The coaching staff is too good. So if you're making the playoffs, then that eliminates the option of you would miss it, and therefore, could you win a couple games to get to the Super Bowl? I think they can. Will they? No. I don't think they're going back to the Super Bowl. But if these are just my two options, I think they are a playoff team. So I think they're closer to getting back to the Super Bowl than missing the playoffs. In terms of what you said, Will, I mean, it's a fair point. I think the Eagles' offense is better than the Patriots' offense, right? Saquon, Devontae Smith. But I just feel like there are issues in Philadelphia. I think there are real issues in Philadelphia as to why they went left. And even if A.J. Brown isn't great, even if he's just really good, I mean, could he put up the same numbers that Stephon Diggs put up last year? Stephon Diggs went over 1,000 yards receiving. And I think A.J. is better than Stephon Diggs at this point in their career. So I think he can still be an impact for a team that needed that. Also, Romeo Dobbs, their number 2, is probably still better than anything they had as number 2 last year. So I do feel like their offense is good enough. I look at the AFC. I think 2 teams in the AFC, as we've seen historically, don't make the playoffs again. Pittsburgh is one. Pittsburgh's not going to make the playoffs this year. And I don't think the Broncos are going to make the playoffs this year. That might be an early bold prediction. I just don't think the Broncos are going back. So,
wow, that's a good one. I like hearing that.
Yeah, I just don't think they will.
AJ Brown is still a top 10 wide receiver.
Say that again?
AJ Brown is still a top 10 wide receiver.
Yeah, he's still a top 10, but I'm saying in terms of like my point with the Broncos, I'm big on how good is your quarterback coaching combination. I still don't trust Bo Nix. I'm not, I think we gave him some grace because they beat Buffalo, but if Josh Allen don't turn the ball over 5 times, they don't beat Buffalo. Buffalo beats them and moves on in the playoffs, and we're not even thinking about the Broncos anymore. But instead, Josh Allen has a couple terrible throws in that game. They have a bad fumble right before halftime. They lose a game that they should have beat the Broncos, and now we're over-evaluating the Broncos. I don't think the Broncos are that good, to be honest. Kyrie also wants to know, best bet to win his first ring this year, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, or Joe Burrow? Just between these 3 guys, Will, who do you think has the best chance of winning their first ring?
Man, Lamar, I think, is going to be out of this world this season. I got to go with Lamar and the Ravens because I think that team they're talented enough, but I cannot overstate the disrespect of Lamar Jackson being ranked 69th out of 100.
Yeah, that's wow.
That's crazy. And I think that with the added motivation of, a new coaching staff, on top of having a trash division, in my opinion, like if top to bottom, that division's trash. You got the Browns. Any division with the Browns in it is going to be disrespected. Even though I think they're going to be better than people think. Pittsburgh's going to be trash, and you never know what you're going to get with Burrow and them boys in Cincinnati. I think Lamar Jackson, out of those 3, is probably in the best position to get to a Super Bowl. I think they're in the best position to have a first round bye because with Buffalo, they got the Patriots to worry about that we were just talking about. And I think, out of those 3 guys, it's going to be Lamar.
Sure.
Well, let me just cancel out Joe Burrow from the gate. The Bengals still don't have a defense, and you're not going to win in the playoffs if you don't have a defense. Sorry. So they're already out of the equation. So it's pretty much up to Lamar and Allen. And I just agree. I agree with Will. We're about to see a very motivated Lamar Jackson, and that's going to be very good for the Baltimore Ravens. So out of them 3, I got to go with Lamar.
I think we all agree. I think if this is the options, though I like Josh Allen, don't get me wrong, and I like the change at head coach because I think Joe Brady is going to bring something different to this Buffalo team. But I've already said, we talked about it in terms of gambling. Lamar, I think, is a legit MVP candidate for this season. I'm taking this over on touchdown passes. I think you could easily go over 30 touchdown passes. I really, truly believe this is one of them seasons where Lamar Jackson comes out with a vengeance. Not just, as you mentioned, Will, where he was ranked overall as a player, which was completely disrespectful, 69th in the league. they put Zay Flowers ahead. Like, we know who the best player on that team is. If you would put Derrick Henry ahead, we could have understood that. But you can't put Zay Flowers ahead of Lamar Jackson. He's not nowhere near better than him. But also the Harbaugh aspect. I think it got to a point towards the end there where Lamar was kind of falling on the sword for Harbaugh. Harbaugh wasn't taking a lot of the criticism. It was all falling on Lamar. And you look at some of the decision-making from that coaching staff, some of their game planning. There were times a couple years ago in a playoff game where they didn't hand the ball off to Derrick Henry one time in the second half of the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, that falls on the coaching staff, and yet Lamar was getting the criticism, not Harbaugh. And so I think there is that bit of like, I'm going to prove to y'all now how special I am as a quarterback in this league. So I would agree. If this is the options, Lamar Jackson, I think, has the best chance. They're probably the most complete team out of this three. I think they have the easier path. I don't completely agree with Will about the Browns because I do think the Browns are going to be good this year. I think they're better than the Steelers this year. But as a division, we can't trust Joe Burrow to play 15 games, let alone 17. Like, we don't know what we're getting in. Pittsburgh is a bad team. They're old. I don't expect much from them. And Cleveland is so young. We're going to get to the next question is about Shador. Cleveland still doesn't even know who they might have a quarterback. There's a real possibility that the Ravens win 12 games this year, win the division, lock up a top 2 seed, and really get to stay in Baltimore for most of this trip to the playoffs. So I do agree. I think Lamar probably has the best shot out of those 3 guys. Tone asks a question. Is this Shador's last chance to win the starting job? As we highlighted on Monday when he played the preseason game the other day, he came in the third quarter with the third stringers. He doesn't really have the support. Will, shout out for the love of the game. There was people mad at us last year when we talked about Shador and we talked about he didn't have the support of the coaching staff. Guess what? There's a new coaching staff, and it still doesn't look like he has the support of the coaching staff. Mm-hmm. Do you think this is Shador's last chance to win the starting job?
I think it might be a wrap for Shador. I told you early that remember I told you that the organization quietly, well maybe not quiet, you know what I mean, they whispering very loudly, but they want Shador. I mean, they want Deshaun Watson to start. Upstairs, they want Deshaun starting because they still cutting them checks, and they have not gotten close to their return on their investment. And the alternative is so mid. They're like, well, why not? You know what I mean? Why not get the return, or at least try to get the return on the investment? No, that's because Shador is not excelling. He's not showing this great growth pause that in his development. He's not blowing anybody away. You know what I mean? So it's like, do we play the guy that we're paying all this money to, that we've paid all this money to, or do we play this guy that's mid that we ain't paying a damn thing to? So it's not about, because really they know who they are as a football team, right? They're not playing for the playoffs. They know they're not going to be a juggernaut. So do you want to play the guy that you're paying $50 million to, or whatever Deshaun's making, or do you want to pay the guy that you're paying a rookie 5th round contract to? You gonna play the guy that you paying all this money to, because the young kid ain't showing you a reason to play him. You know what I'm saying? And so I guess in relation to the question, yes, this is the absolute last chance for him to get this job, and I wouldn't even be surprised if by the end of training camp, Shador Sanders is not a Cleveland Brown.
Trip, what you think?
I think he'll get a chance to start at some point, but it won't be for this team.
Yeah.
Well, I think this question is pertaining to the Browns because he goes to win the starting job. So I'm assuming Tony's talking about the Browns.
Yeah, but that's right. I don't think he's going to get the starting job unless Deshaun Watson gets hurt.
Y'all got to remember, they invested an early pick in Dylan Gabriel, who is still on the roster.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? So if you ain't going to keep a bunch of guys when you don't need to, you know what I mean? You ain't going to keep so many quarterbacks. So you could get rid of the distraction of Shador being on your roster too. And, you know, because ain't nobody going to be calling for Dylan Gabriel after Deshaun Watson's first bad game. But then, you know, you will hear the Shador noise. Yeah, I'm telling you, keep an eye on that. Shador might not be on this roster. I'm telling you.
I stick with what I said last year, and nothing has changed. He doesn't have the support of the organization. He doesn't have the support of the coaching staff. All the odds are stacked against him. You know, the other night, like I said, he goes out there in the third quarter with the third stringers. There's no way you can really evaluate him with the third string crew. But more importantly, that means that he's not taking first string snaps during practice either. And this is the same thing that happened last year. And this is why when he got out there were times that he held the ball too long, the protection didn't hold up because he had no type of rapport with the offensive line. So those are things that go unseen and sometimes people forget about. It's not as simple as like, oh, just go out there and make plays. How am I shifting my line adjustments?
It's an impossible situation.
Right. Like you're putting me in a situation where these are guys that I haven't really had a lot of time to practice with. And now we're in live game action. And they don't understand some of the cadences. They don't understand some of the line protections. They don't understand what I'm trying to do over here. So it's a really tough situation for Shedeur. I think in Cleveland, yes, this is his last chance to win a starting job. I think we're all in agreement. He'll get an opportunity somewhere else, but it looks like in Cleveland, between the financial commitment they've already made to Deshaun, granted it's towards the end of that contract, but it's still a large financial commitment. The fact that Dylan Gabriel was a second-round pick, so there's some guaranteed money on that contract, but not just going to cut ties there. Shedeur is the odd man out. The same thing I was saying last year. Doesn't change.
And then he'll end up being a backup in Dallas.
It's an interesting spot. I still say I would love to see Shedeur get with like a really good offensive head coach, a Sean McVay, a Kyle Shanahan.
What do you think about Tampa?
Say that again?
Tampa.
Nah, because Tampa's going to get a new head coach over there. Todd Bowles is probably on his way out. And Todd Bowles is a defensive head coach.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be a new head coach probably coming in there. If Tampa's situation is very clear. If they make the playoffs, Baker probably gets a 2-year contract. Todd Bowles keeps his job. If they miss the playoff, then they're both gone, and there's going to be a brand new coaching staff. And more importantly, if they miss the playoffs with all those quarterbacks coming into the draft next year, they're going to go with the rookie guy. They're not going to take a chance on Shedeur. Shedeur's going to have to go to a team that's already probably pretty good and pretty established, and that can work with him and treat him like a rehabilitation type. You know, where it's like we'll bring him in and he can quote unquote be the backup for a year until we're ready to see what he got. Shout out to Pooh. Before I do though, I want to shout out to Chris because you're right about this, Chris. We had the conversation last week about Terry Cummins, and I misspoke because when I have basketball reference up, I'm looking at a particular number and it wasn't correct. The end of his career wasn't that great, but he was not an 8-point per game scorer. He was actually a 16-point per game scorer. But I was looking at them last couple of years when he was averaging 6 digits, and I said 8 because that was the final line on it. So that was my fault, Chris. You pointed that out. I do apologize for that because I was wrong on that. Pooh says, Jeannie Buss contesting family sale, stake, and Lakers. So, fellas, as I mentioned a minute ago, there's some rumblings. You're going to hear this news come out very soon. First of all, Jeannie Buss doesn't want to give up her governor's seat with the Lakers. However, because the family as a whole still owns 17%, they can override the sale. That's what's happening. Her half brothers and everybody else is saying, no, we don't want nothing to do with this new ownership group. They're taking the money, they're running. The second part of this, and this way it gets interesting with the Lakers, there's legit evidence that Mark Walters committed insurance fraud, wire fraud, and obtained the funds to buy the Lakers illegally, which leads to why he sold the Lakers to try to cash out as quickly as possible. He's probably going to try to pay back his restitution and see if they'll give him a slap on the wrist. Ultimately, though, this is another black eye for the NBA because that means you did not vet this individual correctly. You let someone who committed insurance fraud and wire fraud buy an NBA team. The Bucks family is trying to get away from this situation as well. Jeannie is trying to keep her job as governor. That's what's playing out here, Pooh. That's the situation in LA.
That's crazy.
And there are rumors. We got to put this out there right now because if Pablo Torre gets killed, it's going to be because of these investigations. Pablo Torre was able to uncover that the gentleman who bought the Phoenix Suns basically bankrupted his company to buy the Phoenix Suns. He basically he had a mortgage company that he basically leveraged to buy the Suns, and now that mortgage company has gone under. He's trying to plead to the federal government for rescue funds to keep his company afloat at this point. So there's a lot of stuff going on with the NBA, and I talked about this with not only the gambling stuff. I said the NBA is in a very tricky spot. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes. We're gonna talk about Kawhi in a second, that the NBA is trying to hide from people right now.
I can't even be mad at Kawhi at this point.
It's a lot, bro. The Kawhi situation is crazy. Squeeze wants to know, he wants to get your thoughts on this, Will. Tripp and I spoke about this. What's your thoughts on the Beyonce video popping up of her sitting on the white man's lap?
I ain't see it. My bad, dog. I ain't see it. What happened? You fill me in. What happened?
There's an old video. I'm assuming this is.
Wait, when you was like a teenager or something?
19.
So we don't know. Yeah, I'm about to say. I think this was like Destiny Child days, like when they first kind of came out.
Okay.
Yeah, because this was what, like 2000, they said, right? 2000, 2001. So she was about 18, 19 at the time, where I don't know who this gentleman is. They're in his office. He gets Michael Jackson on the phone for the girls, and then he kind of signals Beyonce to come over. When she goes over, she sits on his lap as they're talking to Michael Jackson on the phone.
Oh, okay. And it's controversial or something?
I mean, it's a terrible look because this dude easily looks like
a young artist sitting on a record executive's lap. So,
okay, I got you.
As he's like, yeah, I got Michael Jackson on the phone. Come over.
That's probably regular in that setting and moment. You know what I mean? Like I bet Tommy Mottola had a whole lot of people in his lap before. You know what I'm saying? Like
that was the reference I used on Monday. I mentioned.
Word.
I did. I said, let's not forget how young Mariah Carey was when she got.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about. Was Mariah? Yeah, I mean, I didn't see the video. It might not look great in 2026, but like if you was ever around studios or that setting, like radio, even in just radio, you would have you might see something like that happen. And did he have his hand on her ass, or was he, what I'm saying, was it any kind of like anything like that, or she was just
so just to give you context of it, because again, it's a quick video. He's on the phone with Michael. He puts Michael on speakerphone. He waves Beyonce over. She sits on his lap, and they're talking to Michael Jackson. So you can't really see where his hands are, other than like one hand that was originally holding the phone. Okay.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot about nothing. Without seeing the video, it sounds like a lot.
Of course, right. That's what I'm saying. It's tough to tell the proper context. Is it a bad look? Yes, it's a bad look.
At the same time, it's a lot of. I might have sat on his lap if he had Michael Jackson on the phone or something. I mean, now I'm joking. But you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. I'm just joking, man. It's just jokes. We talking about MJ. It's jokes, fellas. It's jokes.
We need a moment of silence for that comment.
It's jokes, man.
Hold on. I want to get through these questions so we can get to the Kawhi and the Stephen A. convo tonight. Do the Indiana Fever have what it takes to get to the finals and maybe win a title? I mean, yeah. I mean, listen, you got two of the top three scorers. Hold on, hit me up. You got two of the top three scorers, right? Kelsey Mitchell and Caleb. So is it a crazy idea to think that they can get hot in a playoff series and those two carry you? No, it's not. It can happen. Do I think they're better than the Aces or the Lynx? No, I don't think they're better than them. But it's not that crazy of an idea when you're talking about the number 2 and number 3 scorer in the league on the same team. And if they just get hot in a series, they can carry you for a series, especially in the WNBA when it's 2 out of 3. So I think they have what it takes. Am I betting on them? No, but they definitely have what it takes. Will, I'm going to let you go, though.
I'm going to say no just because they can't stop nobody. They score, but their defense is not good enough. Like, every time you watch them play anybody elite, take the over because they can't stop nobody. And, I mean, when they play the more downtrodden teams, they look amazing. Caitlin might have 22 and 8 and 6 or something. Kelsey going to come out here and give you 30. She capable of giving you 30 every night. But then on the other end of the floor, if you got elite scorers, you're gonna get yours too. You know what I'm saying? And they have a great 1-2 punch in Caitlin and Kelsey. But when you talk about the aces, when you talk about the Valkyrie, when you talk about the Lynx, they got layers. They come at you in layers. You know what I mean? They got their 1, they got their 2, they got their 3, and then they got team defense and somebody coming off the bench. The Fever don't have that. They just don't have the depth or the defense.
Yeah, and that's why I said I don't.
Do y'all hear me talk about the W?
Say that again.
Y'all hear me out here talking about the W, man?
No,
It's crazy, bro.
We was giving you mad props on Monday night, Will.
It's crazy.
I'm gonna have to cut up a clip because there's a clip circulating out there when we first started recording where somebody asked you was like, man, I don't care what's going on in that league. And now look at you. You give an insight like you broke down the tape like Ron Jaworski right now. You've been in the lab watching games.
I be watching the dub now, but you know what? Because you know what, and I will be the first to admit I had no use for the WNBA in years past, but I know basketball though. You know what I'm saying? It's still basketball, but now you got the product on the floor.
The product is so good right now.
Now you got the product for me to watch. Now you got the product I'm involved in. You know, I got a damn W jersey. You know, who ever would have saw that coming from our years of doing this show? You know what I'm saying? But the product's on. It's still basketball, but the product's on the floor now, and I love it. I'm all in.
Trip, give me your thoughts on this question, Kyrie. Do you feel the Fever have what it takes to get to the finals or possibly even win it?
It's possible because they do have 2-star players that if they get hot at the right time, are very difficult to guard. But the problem is, like Will said, they're just not a good defensive team, and they're gonna run into problems because the teams they're gonna go up against in the playoffs put up numbers. So it's like every series is gonna be a long series for them.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I tend to lean to they have a chance because, like I said, these are 2 out of 3. And when you're working with such a short series like that, all it takes is for Kelsey and Caitlin to get really hot for 2 games and they advance. Mm-hmm. The 4 out of 7 is tougher for you to just win with just scoring and those 2 people. But it's multiple. I mean, when it's just 2 games, they just got to get hot for a week. And if they get hot for a week, they can advance. Squeeze, we answered that question that Pooh had, Will, about Olivia Miles. We answered that. Squeeze also said, Will, that's an extra big pause. That's a pause for that. I was going to mention this because I saw the alert. Yes, Peyton Watson got traded. So the Denver Nuggets is to sign and trade. Peyton Watson is going to the Cavaliers. Max Strus is going to the Clippers. This is an interesting trade for a number of reasons. We won't get too much into it because we don't know all the details of the trade. Obviously, Peyton Watson is the focal point of it. But it's interesting for a number of reasons. One, Cleveland was already a second-apron team. Are they bringing back James Harden would be my first question now that you trade for Peyton Watson. 2, what does this mean for the Clippers? Because you're taking on Max Strus. Does that mean that they know the Kawhi trade is not happening? So there's some layers to it. But Peyton Watson, the alert did just come through. It's a 3-team trade, Denver, Clippers, Cavaliers. Peyton Watson, the best player in that trade, going to the Cavs. And like I said, now I'm interested to see because as we sit here middle of August, James Harden hasn't resigned yet. And now you're telling me the Cavs are trading for another wing guy on that team. That
could be a domino trade right there.
Yeah, I feel like there's more to come from that move.
Because they might be trying to get out the James Harden business anyway with all that off the court shit too.
Who will answer that question? Will you asked him to give the sales pitch. He gave the sales pitch as to why Olivia Miles should win MVP. Let's see. Chris, this is the one I talked about. Like I said, I apologize. I misspoke on that one. Who says Breonna Stewart, 3-time champ, 2-time finals MVP, 2-time season MVP, 8-time All-Star. She not in the GOAT debates. And when did Wilson take top player in the W over Stewie? I think A'ja Wilson. I was about to say, I think Asia Wilson became the best player in the league about 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of Breonna Stewart, guys, y'all gotta remember, like, we can't have 10 people in the GOAT conversation because then it ain't a GOAT conversation.
Yeah.
Like, Breonna Stewart is great in her own right, but like, how far down the list are we gonna go to start including people in the GOAT conversation? The GOAT conversation is really supposed to be like your top 4 or 5 people, not like, hey, what about this person? What about that person? It's like, I don't think Breonna Stewart is in the top 5 all the time.
Resume-wise, she's probably top 10, but I don't believe she's in the GOAT conversation.
There's a great clip out there right now of dang, what's my girl? The one Rookie of the Year and MVP, Candace Parker. Candace Parker talking about somebody asked her to Mount Rushmore the WNBA, and she said, "Before we go any further, I got to give props to Shamika Hoslaw." A lot of people, and I remember, and self-admitted, I wasn't heavy in the W, but when DC, I was still in DC when she played for the Mystics, and when the Mystics was the new team, and she was incredible. And a lot of people, I mean, if you go back to her, what she did in the WNBA, plus what she did at Tennessee under the great Pat Summitt, like she's somebody that I think does not get a lot of, like, I'm not going to speak to say who's the GOAT, because like for me, I'd be talking about like Diana Taurasi, Cheryl Swoops, what I mean? That's my point of reference for the GOAT. But a lot of people sleep on Shamika Hoslaw, man. She was a dog.
A lot of people sleep on Shamika. We've talked about Shamika in the past. I highlighted, and Candace talked about it too, the slam cover. Shamika was a little bit ahead.
Oh, you saw that clip?
Yeah.
You saw that clip?
Yeah, she was ahead of her time. I agree. But like I said, in terms of this question, like, this goes for every sport. This ain't just basketball. Everybody is not going to be in the GOAT conversation. Like, because then it's not a GOAT conversation. Now we're just talking about just all-time greats at that point. If we're truly having a GOAT conversation, that's really reserved for like the top 4 or top 5 greatest, whether it's that position or in the sport. It can't be, hey, this person had a great resume, because Breonna Stewart's resume is great. But guess what? Asia Wilson's resume is already greater than that.
Yeah.
And y'all sat here on Monday and made it seem like Asia maybe shouldn't be in the GOAT conversation, but yet now you're saying Breonna Stewart, and Asia's, again, resume is better than that.
Yeah, Asia got to be in it, though. I mean,
right.
Like, because first, let's be real, the league is 30 years old, right?
Right.
So we're not going back to like, black and white TV days and that like that.
Right.
Then we got to, but a real conversation has to be had about level of play. Like, what I mean, from, let's say 30 years ago, from 1997 to 2004, what was the league level of play? Like my whole interest in the league now, where you see elite level basketball on throughout the league, where before you had 5, 6, 7 stars. You know what I'm saying? You have 5, 6, 7 stars that carried the league. When now you've got, like we talk about the Fever, they got 2 on one team. We talk about the Lynx, they got 3. You know what I'm saying? We talk about the Aces, they got 3. Like everybody's hooping now. So I think I don't think a GOAT conversation can be had at this point in the WNBA. I think we can have a Mount Rushmore.
Thank you.
I think we have a Mount Rushmore, but a GOAT conversation, I don't think it's. I think it's too early.
I highlighted this on Monday when I said it's not fair to have that conversation, because when Lisa Leslie and Cheryl Swoops and Cynthia Cooper, when the W started, they were already in their late 20s, early 30s. So it's never going to be fair to compare what they did, like you said, between the level of competition, between the lack of depth in the league. There was only like 8 teams in the league at that time, compared to now. That's not to say that for a fact Asia Wilson or anybody in the league now is better than them. It's just to say that the numbers are never going to match up. Right. Because it was at a point when those women's best years had already taken place overseas. They were just launching the league to get it going.
Yeah.
Asia and Olivia and all of them are going to get 10, 12 years in the W.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To really establish themselves.
And the thing,
it's going to get 7.
And kind of to kind of line it up, it's like think if we go back to like the NBA, right? Inceptions, like let's say we go back to 1958, and we got 30 years of basketball from 1958 to 1988, and we talk about who's the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? We talk at that point. We're gonna be talking about in 1988. We're gonna be talking about Magic, Bird, Kareem, but we ain't gonna be talking about nobody from the 50s. You know what I'm saying? And that's what is happening right now. I feel like because you did have a couple standouts. You had your Oscar Robertson. You had your, you know what I mean, the tall white dude to play for the Lakers with the goggles. I can't remember his name. You had your stand. No, not Rambus. I'm talking about way back, like Minneapolis Lakers type dude.
George Mikan.
Yeah, Mikan. You had those guys, but who were they playing? You know what I'm saying? There was no depth in the league. There was no talent base in the league.
Right.
I think that's what we're going through now with the WNBA. It's like it's too early. It's too born. It's too raw. You know. You see what I'm trying to say? But now, 30 years in, now we getting the Jordans, the Dominiques, you know what I'm saying? Now we get with these players we're seeing now. Now it's starting to evolve. We just as a league, it has to have that. It had to have that time. I feel like to where it had to have that evolution, and now we're going through that evolution right now.
Absolutely. I mean, to this point, this what we're saying, Paul. Like she goes. So what about the ladies that had to go overseas? Teresa Edwards, Cheryl Miller, Katrina McClain. Even though their generation came in the W late, but how do the players get ranked? It's tough to rank them.
Yeah.
And that's no knock on them. We just have to be realistic. What are we ranking them on? Like we don't know that the level overseas was solid for that era, but we also don't know all the proper context of everything that was going on within women's basketball. It's just like Bill's point. When you look at the NBA or any league for that matter, right? There was a point in pro sports where a lot of pro athletes had to keep a regular job during the off season. So you can't compare them to athletes now who get to train all year round. We can't compare the women of the W now who get the opportunity to focus on the game here stateside and be like, all right, I'm putting everything into this upcoming W season and I don't have any distractions. In comparison to, the women who had to go overseas and had to leave their family, had to make tough decisions about relationships, had to be like, all right, I'm going over to Europe for 4 months to play ball, and then I hope to find a job after that. It's tough to compare them to, and the league itself, the W, is still very, very young. Like Bro said, it's only 30 years in. This isn't an extensive history. Like the W can't even do like an all-time 50 team yet. So it's tough to rank them. We can only rank them off of what they've done so far, what we've seen so far. It's a difficult conversation, and out of respect for the women, like I said, if you're gonna talk GOATs, you gotta come with like the most outstanding players of all time. You can't just throw everybody. What are we matching it up against?
That's why for me, it's gotta be Diana Taurasi when you accumulate UConn, when you accumulate what she did in the W and what she did for Olympic basketball. Like, how is it not her?
Squeeze says you judge them then by college USA basketball. Okay, so then.
Oh yeah, exactly. Well, I'm just saying.
Hold on, that's fair, but keep in mind, Squeeze. So if that's the case, then the Shamika Holdsclaw go higher on the list than somebody who's performed in the W? Because Shamika was amazing in college.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's a very tough argument to have because the women's game does not have the extensive history that the men's game has. It has history, but we're talking about the WNBA that's only been in existence for like 30 years.
Yeah, that's a big part of it is sample size. Yeah.
We're talking about a league in the W that up until 10 years ago was still operating like in single digits with the amount of teams that they had. 10 years ago, I think the W only had 9 or 10 teams.
Yeah.
So
and anybody that knows hoops and like was in gyms and was around will tell you that the best ladies player ever never even played in the W. That's Cheryl Miller.
Yeah.
Like he never even played in the W. You know what I'm saying? So it's like because it's so new.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And Cheryl's not old. Cheryl out here looking good, covering games right now for Prime. Cheryl, she's great. You know what I'm saying? She know the game inside and out. And anybody that's ever saw her hoop will tell you she could. It was people that said she could have played in the league.
Yeah.
Of course, she could have
You know
played
what I'm
in
saying? It was people that said she could have played in the league.
No,
So that's somebody that does not get their props
Right,
at all because they never played in the W. No, I'm talking about the NBA.
Yeah, you're right.
But so that's how good she was. But we have no, you know what I'm saying, we can't point to her because she never even played in the WNBA. And like you pointed out, Eric, which is a great point, when the W came around, the elite players, they weren't coming out of college. They were grown already. They were in their late 20s.
Yeah.
This gonna be the last one. This gonna be the last one, and we're gonna move on. Squeeze says, "Nah, I'm saying the ones that didn't play in the W because it wasn't around. You judge them by USA basketball. That's the highest level. Then Teresa Edwards played 5 Olympics, got 4 gold medals. But keep in mind also, though, Squeeze, we were so far ahead of every other country in basketball. I don't even know if that's a way to evaluate them.
Yes.
Look at how the world is starting to catch up to the NBA players now, to the American players now.
Yeah.
On the men's game. Go back and look at what some of them dream team scores was, men's and women.
Oh hell yeah!
You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't a equal playing field. Like yeah, it's great that they won Olympic gold medals, but let's not pretend that like the rest of the world had equal talent to what we had.
The dream team was winning games by an average of 70.
Men's and women.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Men's and women. And keep in mind, right? If we can't, the reason we can't just use Olympic play. Diana Taurasi was 41 years old on the last team. Diana Taurasi was barely playing on that team, but she got a gold medal.
Yeah, but can we all agree that she's a fucking? If there's a Mount Rushmore, she's on it.
I believe Diana Taurasi.
You agree, Trip?
Let's get to this one.
I'm not mad at that if she's on there.
Let's get to this one, man. Let's move on. Let's get to some other stuff here because we still got that Kawhi question to get to, and we still got the Stephen A. conversation to get to. Kyrie says Tim Hardaway Sr. says he takes Prime Penny or Grant Hill over LeBron. Some people call him crazy, but Penny and Grant Hill, 6'8" point forwards could pass. Penny can shoot better than Braun. Tim not far off though. Trip, give me your thoughts.
Okay, so first of all, I've noticed several different times where Tim Hardaway's hating on Braun. So I'm gonna take this one with a grain of salt. I mean, listen, and this is no disrespect because Grant Hill, I believe, if he doesn't have the injuries, is top 25 all time. That's the skills level that Grant Hill has. So there's no disrespect to Grant Hill. Same thing with Penny. I mean, Penny could have been a top player as well. Just the injuries derailed his career. But neither one of them guys was better than LeBron James. I'm sorry. Like we're not even about to do that. That's clearly a little bit of hateration on Tim Hardaway's behalf, and I'm disappointed. But it is what it is. Everybody need that clickbait.
Well, what's your thoughts, bro?
Prime Penny and Grant Hill. That's an easy call, Chan. Easy call. Shout out to my man Jay Pesh. That's an easy call. Listen.
Write this down, Chan.
Listen. You know what I'm talking about.
That's my man. I fuck with Jay. We gonna cut the clip. Shout out to Jay.
We gotta clip this up and send it to him. No, we gotta clip this up. Yeah, listen. I was around for this. Okay, so I was around for Grant in his prime. I was around for Penny in his prime, and of course, I was around for LeBron in his prime. Line them up on the baseline. Or you know what? Let me watch them play in LA Fitness, and I'm in the gym, right? And then I'm picking who I want on my squad. LeBron's third, easily. Grant Hill was an issue that the league was really not ready for. If he didn't hurt his knee, we're gonna be talking about Grant Hill with the Jordan and the Kobe conversation. That's without a doubt we would have been talking about Grant Hill like that. Penny, same way, injuries. When Penny came into the league, he took it over too. You know what I'm saying? He came in the league, walked in the door, was all pro. I mean, all NBA. You know what I'm saying? And what the thing where I put both of them above LeBron James is they both came in way more offensively sound. Way more offensively sound. They could get their buckets in multiple ways in different spots on the floor, any spot on the floor. And we all know LeBron came in with limitations. He came in athletic as hell, but he wasn't a shooter. He had no 3-point shot. You know what I'm saying? And no, I know we talking about primes, but I'm with those guys in their primes were early because injuries took away where they could have been.
So I think their conversation. What are we considering their prime?
I think their trajectory was better because their primes were so early. Like if I'm talking about Pistons Grant Hill, Pistons Grant Hill versus what? What year, LeBron? Heat?
In my opinion, comment section, y'all let me know if y'all agree or disagree. The best version of LeBron is Miami Heat LeBron.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Heat
version of LeBron.
Some people will say second time Cleveland, but really it was Heat. In my opinion,
I think the Heat version of LeBron was the best version of LeBron James.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Some people like to say that second time LeBron in Cleveland, but Heat LeBron versus, of course, Orlando, Penny, and I'm gonna say Detroit, Grant Hill. I'm going Grant Hill 1. I'm going Penny 2, and I'm going LeBron 3rd.
So, Trip, I don't think we should or can even view this as hate because you're asking someone like Tim Hardaway Sr., who played against both those guys. So he had on-court knowledge of like, this is what it was like game planning for Penny Hardaway and for Grant Hill. So to me, I can't view that as hate. Because if you played against them guys and you saw the scouting report, and this is somebody who's still now connected to the game as a scout and paying attention, he could easily say, I see what the scouting reports are for LeBron, and they don't look the same way as the scouting reports for Penny and Grant Hill. Have you heard
Tim Hardaway speak about LeBron prior to this?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, I have.
And it's usually in a negative way.
Me too, though. Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? I'm just breaking it. I'm saying me too.
Hold on. Right. Because what we can't do, but what we can't do is make it seem like just because you speak negatively on somebody, it got hate. You could be speaking from a factual perspective.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Both can be true.
Facts to be like, yo, this is why I don't like that player's game. Hating on somebody, I've never heard him take personal shots at LeBron.
No, I've never heard him take personal shots at somebody to hate on them. There's ways of hating on somebody without it looking like I'm just personally just jabbing at LeBron. There's ways. Come on, you know that.
You know what?
Like I said, I view this. He's always attacked LeBron's game. He's always said LeBron is limited as a player.
He is.
So that's not to me. That's not hating.
Stop. We're not doing that.
Listen, all right, Trip. Let me ask you one thing. Who you want bringing the ball up out of those three? Who you want bringing the ball up? Who got enough pat?
LeBron.
What? He can't dribble, dog. So you want LeBron?
He got the best vision out of all of them.
You out of here, man.
Hold on, Trip. Hold on.
That's what I brought that up.
Hold on. Trip, you gonna tell me that you would rather have LeBron initiating your offense over Penny Hardaway?
Yeah.
Wow. And Grant Hill, who was the invention of the point forward?
He wasn't the invention.
I mean, but
he was the
I think that might have been Anthony Mason. Might have been that.
No, Anthony, stop. Come on, Trip. You just throwing out random shit against the wall.
Anthony Mason.
Anthony, and I love Anthony. He was not the modern day invention style. Because
That is
he was doing it before Anthony Mason.
I'm taking LeBron over all of those guys. It
But
is what it is.
I think
who
so.
got the best? I'm just asking.
We having two separate conversations. That's what this really is. We having two separate conversations.
I just want to know one question.
We're having two separate conversations.
What's the conversations we having? Because either one is LeBron's better than both.
You were trying to talk about. You were
out of your mind.
I see what you're trying to talk about the totality of LeBron's career.
I'm telling you, it don't matter at what point in LeBron's career he's better. That's what I'm telling you.
Who's the better ball handler? LeBron James, Grant Hill, Penny Hardaway. And you putting LeBron above Grant Hill and Penny Hardaway as who's a better ball handler?
That wasn't your question. Your question was.
It is my question.
That's not your question. Was who do you want bringing the ball up the court? Now who's the
because I want a ball handler bringing it up.
I asked you directly. I said, would you prefer LeBron initiating your offense over Penny Hardaway? I asked you that directly.
Yes, and I said yes.
So then, to Will's point, you just said you think LeBron is the better point guard.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
I think he is.
So LeBron, hold on. So LeBron is a better point guard than Magic Johnson?
No.
Because Penny Hardaway was the equivalent of what Magic Johnson was as a point guard.
With a bucket.
With a better jump shot and more athletic.
With a bucket. This is insane. It's insane.
What that mean?
Man, I love it. I love it.
I'm still taking Bron.
We still recording, right? This is on whack, right?
You can take Bron, bro. I'm not mad at you for taking Bron. That's like somebody asking me, yo, right now, who would you take? Jalen Brunson? I'm gonna say, yeah, Jalen Brunson's my guy. But if somebody asks me, yo, is Jalen Brunson better than Joker? No, he's not better than Joker. My preference might be Jalen Brunson's my guy. He's not better than Joker. Like, come on, Trip. You really telling me that LeBron James is a better point guard than Penny Hardaway?
I'm taking a guy that's fourth all time on the assist list.
So here we go. Dog, you know what? No. I gotta do this. I gotta say this.
Hold on, Will, hold on. You just proved my point. You talking about the totality of the career.
I just said it don't matter at any point in his career. I'm taking LeBron, Ramon. James.
Yo, the LeBron love is MAGA-esque. I've been saying this for weeks. Like, you ever see these clips? They be like, so there was no evidence of anybody vandalizing a reflecting pool. We got to go tape, and you still gonna say it was vandalized?
If it was a draft right now,
it'd be the same.
And those three
LeBron, it's a cult. The LeBron love is a cult, just like the MAGA shit, man. Bro, y'all be telling the same way. Y'all be telling the same.
All was in the draft together, and we needed a point guard on our team. I'm drafting LeBron James.
It don't matter if he can't dribble. It don't matter if he can't even cross over without getting plucked. It don't matter if he can't cross over without getting plucked, but that don't matter, right?
Will, you already answered your question. Like you said, it's like MAGA. We're not going to change his mind.
God damn, it's wild. It's like right in your face, dog. Pause. It's right there.
I'm going to answer the question like this. Shout out to Kyrie. I'm going to post the question back up there, and then I'm going to answer it, and then we're just going to move on because we know that Trip is never going to come off of that hill. All right? I'm going to say this. One, it's like I started off, I don't view this as hate from Tim Hardaway Sr. You've got to keep it in perspective that Tim Hardaway Sr. competed against Penny, competed against Grant. He knew what it was like to go against those guys. He knew what the scouting reports were, and he sees what LeBron is right now. It's a fair statement to make to say that in their prime, they were better. That does not diminish LeBron's accomplishments. That does not change where LeBron stands historically. Because there are plenty of people who say if Len Bias didn't overdose on coke, he would have been better.
You said in their primes they were better point guards than him, or they were better players?
Hold on. No,
I'm asking what he said. You said
they were better players.
Yes.
Oh, okay. In their primes. Okay. Well, that's definitely not.
Now, Will, because you're from the DC area, you know this. There's a lot of people who say that Len Bias would have been better than Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Tragic draft.
I say that too.
Right?
Yep.
That's not a knock on Michael Jordan, though. That's somebody's perspective based on what they saw. Len Bias used to give Mike the blues in college.
The blues. He gave everybody the blues.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's fair if anybody says, yo, I think Len Bias could have been greater than Mike. He might have been. Unfortunately, tragedy struck and we never got the opportunity to see it. But it's no different in this conversation. Penny and Grant might have been better than LeBron. Unfortunately, injuries robbed us of that opportunity to see if it could. But if you're telling me in their prime, and I've always said this, Penny Hardaway, one of my favorite players of all time. Penny Hardaway had a chance to be an all-time great in the NBA.
Penny was like a top 5 player in the league.
Look, so just go back. Hold on. I want to say this. Go back and look at the impact Penny had from day one when he hit the league.
Top 5 through the gate.
The Magic had not made the playoffs, and within 2 years of Penny Hardaway getting there, they were in the NBA Finals.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of Shaq. There was a lot of Scott. There was a lot of
Shaquille O'Neal. But
even Shaq will say Penny changed the trajectory of that team.
But see, Trip. I bring those guys up. I bring those guys up to tell you, Penny made that thing go.
I know who
Penny made that thing go, man.
I'm a fan of Penny, but there's no way that them in their prime is better than LeBron James in their prime. Because that's the statement here. They're not better.
They were. Listen to me. I think this is the disconnect.
Yeah.
To me, I think this is the disconnect. LeBron James in his prime was physically better. He was a better physical specimen.
But that was his statement, right? He said they're better.
He was not a better basketball player at any point. I don't even think today.
LeBron was not more skilled than Grant Hill.
I don't think throughout LeBron James's whole career was he ever better than Grant Hill at his peak. I'll say that.
He wasn't
for real.
LeBron. This is where it gets tricky with the LeBron conversation because LeBron has been dominant for so long that people confuse dominance with skill.
And consistency. He's been consistent as fuck. I'll give him that.
Shaq is probably the most dominant center of all time.
Did he say they're more skilled than LeBron or they were better?
Yes, he said skilled. He said their prime was better.
I didn't see with that comment. Put the comment back.
Let me ask you a question, Trip. Was Hakeem Olajuwon more skilled than Shaquille O'Neal?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right. Shaq had the better career. Shaq was more dominant. But if we just talking skill, Hakeem was more skilled than Shaquille O'Neal. It's okay. Just because you're a Bron fan, you can acknowledge that somebody might have been more skilled than your guy. I'm not taking that away from LeBron's career, the totality of his career.
It still wouldn't matter. If he says they're better than LeBron, I believe he's wrong. That is it. There's nothing you want to say to me. I don't care about skills. He said.
You think anybody's better than LeBron?
Yeah.
Who?
Michael Jordan.
Oh, I was scared. I thought he was going to say Bronny. I was scared.
I didn't want to like. I would have,
I didn't know you thought Jordan was better. Okay, all right. I'm gonna leave it alone now. There is some. I'm gonna leave it alone.
Let's move on. Let's just go ahead and move on. Shout out to Kyrie. He said, talk about the Kawhi Leonard stuff where he played the start of the season. We can go through this topic really quickly because I highlighted. Not only do I think Kawhi will miss the start of the season, I think we're looking at a record NBA suspension for Kawhi Leonard. The fact that the NBA has already come out and said the Clippers owner had nothing to do with the, paying him under the table, Kawhi's going to have to fall on that sword. That's my thoughts. Trip, will Kawhi start the season?
No. I don't think so.
I think he might be done playing basketball. Period. Like, I think he might walk away from the game.
And I saw somebody the other day when we talked about this 2 weeks ago. Somebody commented that they said they think he's gonna retire.
Yeah, get out. I mean, plus they ain't gonna miss him. Is anybody gonna be like, damn, I miss Kawhi?
No.
There's too many young bulls out here that's balling. Go ahead. You know what I'm saying?
We'll be able to see Kawhi now.
5 years from now.
Yeah, Kawhi was, he gave him my tagline, you know what I'm saying? So
I didn't even see this one, but I'm gonna throw this one up right here. Shout out to George. He said the Tupac murder trial is getting interesting. Have y'all been keeping up with it? I have not.
Not at all.
We already know how the
I
story
was there, bro. Like, yeah.
We already know how the story goes.
I'm over it.
Over it is for
Let's
sure.
get to this. This is the final topic of the night. So any questions that come through, if they're not related to this, I'm not putting them on the screen. I'm gonna tell y'all right now. This is the final topic of the night. Stephen A. Smith.
Oh.
Thumbs down award from the NABJ. Guess he came back. I don't know the full story, but thoughts overall. Who wants to go first?
I want to go last.
I'm going last. So you can.
I'll go first, man. I'll go first. I'll go first.
So, let me just set the table. Let me set the table. For people that aren't aware of the situation, the National Association of Black Journalists, they hold a convention every year. And this year's convention, it was announced that there were 5 recipients of their Thumbs Down Award. One of those was Stephen A. Smith. And they talked about the reason he received the award was because of disparaging remarks towards Black women. Stephen A. Smith has not only gone on his podcast and show to talk about it, he was on Hannity, he was on Chris Cuomo talking about it. He's put up a bunch of social media posts calling it disrespectful that he received this Thumbs Down award. Will, I'm gonna let you start.
I'm gonna preface this by saying I used to be a huge fan of Stephen A. Smith. I used to read Stephen A. Smith, like back in the day. I don't know if y'all remember, there used to be newspapers, and I used to get newspapers from different cities, and I would read the Philadelphia Inquirer, where he used to write at, and covered the 76ers. He was a great journalist at the time. ESPN happens, you know, he has his rise, his claim to fame. First Take happens. Well, actually, First Cold Pizza happened. He was a guest there. First Take happens. Some other shows. He becomes bigger than life. Stephen A. used to be the voice for us. Like, he used to go to the bathrooms back in the day when it was profitable to be that voice. But then along the way, when his celebrity grew, it became more profitable to be on the other side, and more profitable to speak more safely for the more, for the lighter shade, and to be more comfortable for them. Then we fast forward. He's the face of ESPN, the big money maker, and all of that. And this relationship with the NABJ, he's had one. He's been part of their association, and a speaker at their events in the last few years. And because he is one of the biggest faces of the media, and he happens to be a Black face, and the fact that they can get him to bring attention to their cause and to their events and to what they got going on was embraced by them. Stephen A. Smith, for a long time, dating back, I'd say about 6 years, 6, 7, 8 years, has said questionable things about Black women, Black media, Black athletes, where we were wanting him to speak up for us and to be the voice, and to, we need you right now. He always told the company line, and there are clips out there on the internet, you can look them up. He always did the safe role. And now, I get the whole thing, the beef he has. He's like, yo, I was with y'all recently, but now you giving me the thumbs down and all this. Well, yeah, I see both sides of it, but Stephen A., they are right. Like, this is one of those situations where both sides can be right. Yeah, they had you out there in front of the media, when it was bringing in dollars for them. Yeah, they did. But then at the same time, they can call you out too on the shit you've been doing. You have been talking down on our causes, the things we want to do, the motions we're trying to have. You give us more criticism than you do. I'm gonna just speak straight up. I don't know. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to y'all's platform. I'm not trying to get y'all canceled. With black issues, you act one way, and then with the white issues, you sweep them under the rug. So like if like you're very critical of things that are related to our situations, our struggles, our representation. You criticize our representation very vocally, but you don't do that for them, for the other side. And with you having the platform that you have, that you bragged about on Hannity of all places, on fucking Fox News. This is your redemption story. You go on Fox News to show that you're not what you're being accused of. You go on Fox News on Hannity. You had Hannity in that moment. You had a moment to speak up for these black women that the black women are saying that you don't speak up for. He says, when we, yeah, you're the left, or what do you call them, the extreme left, or
you got the kooky black women.
And he says, ew, it's Jasmine Crockett who says kooky things, and I forget the other young lady's name he mentioned that says kooky things. In my opinion, it says kooky things. Right there, Stephen A., with your opportunity to say, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to say that about these women. This is why you're on the show, because you don't rep for them. He pretty much downplayed those women that you are accused of downplaying in your face. And with you not saying anything back, you pretty much give validity to it, especially to a Fox News audience that's past the fucking mental capacity of a fucking used condom. That was your opportunity right there in your face to say, hey, we're not going to do that. We're not going to disparage these black women. You've been accused of disparaging black women? Well, he just did it in your face. You just let this racist fucking grifter say this in your face, and you didn't say nothing back, bro. Fuck you, Stephen A. And I can't ride with I can't defend you, bro. This is actions in front of you. He literally did the shit that you're accused of doing in your face. What you're trying to say that you don't do, but you let him do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. Like if you get accused of calling your mother a hoe, and then you go on the news and like, oh, I never called my mother a hoe, and then the dude said, well, your mom's a hoe, and you just move on past it and just keep going. That's what you did, man. Fuck you, Stephen A. Fuck you, bro.
Trip, give me your thoughts, bro.
Let me just first say this, because I don't know if everybody knows, but the NABJ is the National Association of Black Journalists. Let me just say that first and foremost.
I have mentioned that when I brought up the question.
And then I do want to preface this, because I have met Stephen A. Before, and when I met him, very cool, very respectful. But that does not mean that you can't be held accountable for the things that you say and that you do. And they gave you that award again for how you speak about these, black women. Now, I have direct relation to one of the black women that you have been going back and forth with, and that's Joy-Ann Reid. So yes, that is why they would come and give you that award. They don't care if 2 years ago we had you up here and everything was good. Guess what? When you do bad, you still got to get checked for that. You still got to be held accountable. Who are you that you can't be held accountable for the things that you say and that you do? Because guess what? You don't come at these white people when they be getting at you. You sat back and took it easy when the president called you dumb, straight disrespected you to your face, You sat back and took it easy. You ain't go hard. You didn't make a whole. Oh, I'm about to go in on these. I'm about to expose every. I'm about to do. No, you didn't do none of that. You sat back and humbled yourself, tucked your tail between your legs, and that was the end of it. And then now you want to come out. You want to run around the white media circle after the black media circle called you out, and your response to them calling you out about how you don't rock with us and you don't defend black women and you don't do these things is to go run out. Let me go run over to the white man. Let me go. Let me go. Yeah, I ain't gonna go too far because I want to go in. I ain't gonna go too.
Go in, nah, go, bro.
Go in, bro. You cooking right now, bro. You cooking right now.
It's giving much. He was trying. He was one of them brothers that was inside the house. It's giving that right now. You know what they say about the brothers that was inside the house. That's what it's given right now. As Will said, you had a chance, in real time to do the opposite, and you still do the same thing. You don't defend these women. First of all, that brother, excuse me, that white man don't know them black women personally to say anything about them and their character, what they do. Because he was speaking about them, wasn't about their politics or anything like that. He was speaking about their person. You don't know them women. I'm pretty sure you have never met Jasmine Crockett, none of these people, and had an actual conversation with them. You're basing this off of what you see in here in the media spaces. So I mean, I'm not trying to hear Stephen A. Cut it out. Do better. That's it. Just do better.
Trip, you cooking with hot grease right now, bro. Everything you said is on point like a motherfucker. And I'm gonna add to. I'm glad you brought up a lot of points that I forgot. You covered them all. But and shout out to Joyanne Reed. That's the one when I said I forget the other young lady's name that I couldn't remember. I didn't know you linked up to her, man. We gonna have to get in on something. We'll talk off it. But yeah, that's crazy that you. But something else that he did in that interview that made me want to fucking. When this nigga got on here and said, I got a black mother, I got black sisters, I got a black niece. Nigga, that's like.
But hold on. He didn't just say, "Oh, I got a black mother."
I mean, you know what I'm saying,
right? But hold on. But to be fair, you got to put it in the context of what he said.
He named.
He said for me. He
listed his black family members that were women.
No, hold on. He said for you to say I've been disparaging towards black women when I've saluted and I was raised by a black mother, black sisters, black nieces, black daughters, and I employ black women. See, you're gonna prove. No, hold on. You're gonna prove my point on this, Will, right? Because I agree with y'all, and we've talked about this before.
But you can't.
Let me just say this one thing.
Yeah, say what you're gonna say. Say what you're gonna say.
Because those are black women, and shout out to them and everything that he does for them. But those are black women that we know nothing about. They're not in the public space. We're talking about him.
Okay, hold on.
Not
but let Will finish his point. Let Will finish his point, because then I want to jump in from there.
For me, of course you're gonna love your family. But that's when you're accused of disparaging a certain class of people, and then your first thing to do is to say, well, I have these certain class, I have that class of people in my circle. Especially when you just relating to your family. It's like if you call a white dude a racist, and the first thing he tells you about is how many black friends he got. That's exactly what that was, that vibe. Oh, I don't disparage black women. I've got a black mother. I've got black sisters. I've got so many nieces and daughters, and that's the same energy that if you call any person of any race racist, coming from us, black, or any race, and they start telling you how many people they know that are the race that you're saying that you accuse them of being racist against. That's that same vibe. Like if I call a dude a racist, and the first thing he's telling me about is his my sister fucked the black guy, so my nephew's half black.
Okay, so hold on, check it out.
And my gym teacher, who was a great influence in my life, he taught me how to use my left. He was black. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on.
Okay, but here
What
we
you
are.
doing?
This situation. So I want to say this. First and foremost, Stephen A. Smith. If not for Stephen A. Smith, a lot of black journalists never get an opportunity. So I'm a fan of Stephen A. Smith from that perspective. All right, we're not going to pretend that Stephen A. Smith wasn't the first one that was on TV talking the way that he was talking and really opened up a lane for, as Will highlighted a few weeks ago, what we call barbershop talk. Stephen A. Smith that was his lane. When he was at CNN SI, and then he transitioned over to ESPN and Philadelphia Inquirer and all those things, right? So this is not to pretend like I was never a fan of Stephen A. Smith. However, I'm also going to say that I've been critical of Stephen A. Smith on this platform, Real Fans, Real Talk, and other conversations we've had, because Stephen A. Smith has been out of pocket in a lot of situations. We know that. My issue with this situation is this is a prime example of what happens when the culture and the community turn against you. They don't want to hear what you have to say. And here's why. Is the NABJ accurate in giving him the thumbs down? Absolutely. Absolutely. In the last year, he made the comments about Jasmine Crockett. We go back further, he's made other comments. Remember, he had the on-air dispute with Monica McNutt.
Jamel Hill.
With Jamel Hill, he's had issues with her. He literally sat on TV after Ray Rice knocked out his fiance in the elevator and said, well, maybe she provoked him.
Yes.
But
he had to apologize for that too, because he was about to get paid.
But, and this is why I'm playing devil's advocate. The Ray Rice comment was back in 2014. The dispute with Jamel Hill was back in 2019. The dispute with Monica McNutt was 4 years ago, 2022. But guess where he was still invited to in 2024? The NABJ convention. Why? Because ESPN put up money for sponsorship and they were okay with Stephen A. going. Guess where Stephen A. was last year, 2025? In Cleveland, the NABJ. And ESPN, hold on, and ESPN put up money, sponsorship for him to be there. And the NABJ supported the fact that Stephen A. was going to be there. They promoted the fact that he was going to be there because he's such a big name in this media space. They wanted to capitalize on it. Oh, by the way, if we're talking about disparaging remarks to women of any race, I would think, and you guys let me know if I'm wrong, Donald Trump is probably the king of that. Guess who was invited to the NABJ in 2024? Donald Trump.
Yep, I know.
Was at the convention, and then the organizers of the convention were mad that the fans heckled Donald Trump when he was on stage. So my point in saying all this is, I get the reason why you gave him the thumbs down, but are you giving him the thumbs down because he wasn't at the convention this year? Because why didn't you feel that way the past 2 years when he didn't show up? His disparaging remarks against Black women dates back over a decade. So to Tripp's point, you're right. Whenever you need to be checked, we should be able to do that as a community. If you're wrong, you're wrong. Y'all my brothers. If I'm wrong, y'all should be able to tell me, yo, E, you wrong right now. And I should be sensitive about it. And I feel Stephen A. is being very sensitive about it right now. Because at the end of the day, it's a thumbs down award. Big fucking deal.
Yeah.
But you go on Hannity, you go on Cuomo, you do your show, you're ranting and raving. Every social media post is about the thumbs down award, which is not that big of a deal. So what that they didn't like you? So what? That's his ego that's driving the conversation right now. Because if Stephen A. didn't give this any light or give this any airtime, nobody would be talking about it today.
Yeah, we wouldn't know about it at all.
However, I encourage, I don't want to say challenge, I encourage anybody to go to the NABJ page. The only award they posted from the convention is the thumbs down award for Stephen A. Smith, which leads me to believe this was all strategic. This was clickbait. This was money.
This money.
And that's my only issue with this.
Did I not leave with that though?
Say that again?
I led with that though. I said it feels like, both can be true.
And that's my point. I'm not mad that they gave Stephen A the thumbs down. But if you're an organization built on integrity and saying we are cultivating the next great journalist of this country, then we also got to do things with integrity.
Yeah.
Trip, you and I have had many conversations with Scoop B. Have we not? Scoop B has a larger platform than we have. Does he not? If we sat here and talked about something Scoop B said or did that we didn't agree with, and then Scoop reached out to us and was like, yo, fellas, I saw what y'all said about me, man. I would love to chop it up with y'all and just like kind of talk through it. That way y'all can hear my perspective. I would think it would be fair to be like, all right, come on, let's chop it up. We have a relationship already. I feel what the NABJ did was a prime example of clickbait. We give you the thumbs down award. We post it. Now, mind you, go to their social media page. You'll see it. It's still up there. Every other video has very minimal engagement except the one that has the thumbs down award. Stephen A said himself, I reached out to the president to have her come on my show so we could talk about it. She said, let's talk about it in private. But that same day, she went and did an interview with, I believe, Forbes magazine. But you and Stephen A have a relationship already. He brought you a check the last couple of years when ESPN sponsored.
But then he went to Fox News.
All right. And so I was waiting for you to
Both
mention that.
sides could be right there wrong.
But hold on. Do we know for a fact that any black journalist has asked to sit down with Stephen A?
We don't. Well, I know when he did sit down.
Okay. But he can only talk to who's willing to talk to him.
You ain't gotta talk to them.
Now, I'm playing devil's advocate because what he said at Hannity was wrong. And I 1000% agree with you. He had an opportunity right then and there to put his foot down and be like, we're not going to do that. We're not going to call No, I know. All I'm saying is,
I can't give him a pass on this one. I can't.
I'm not giving him a pass. I'm not giving him a pass, Will. This is not about giving him a pass. This is highlighting that in this social media era, when you have somebody who is unpopular, when you have somebody who's easy to pile on, pause, you can throw dirt on their name and then nobody cares about the other aspects of the facts. That's my point. The NABJ, again, you pride yourself on being an organization that is building the next group of journalists built on integrity. That is reckless journalism.
Let me ask you this. Who brought more attention to this, the NABJ or Stephen A?
Stephen A. Smith.
Then then that's on him. Fuck him. You, like you just said, nobody be talking about it, right? If he didn't bring it up.
Hold on. But Will, that's why I use the example of Scoop B. I use the example of somebody who has a larger platform than Tripp and myself. Mm-hmm. If we have used you, when I say use you loosely, we've used you to bring viewers in, to get people to pay attention to our platform. And now I slander your name. At the very least, I should give you the opportunity to defend yourself.
Yeah, I get it.
Think about what's homie from the Junkies.
Aga?
Yeah, Aga from the Junkies.
JB.
All right. We've had JB on the live 2 times when we was doing Facebook Lives.
Mm-hmm.
If we throw a jab at JB, he's got, now mind you, when we had him on the Facebook Lives, he still has a larger platform than us. He has a morning radio show in DC, one of the bigger media networks.
Mm-hmm.
If we throw a jab at him and he reach out to you like, yo, Will, I seen you and your man said something about me. Let me come on the show and talk to y'all. Nah, we don't want to have you on the show. Let's talk in private. But hold on, but you threw the jab at me publicly. Let me come on the show and speak.
I get what you're saying. I get that.
So that's what
that. But do we know like that was a conversation?
Stephen A reported the first day it came out, he said, I reached out to her, the president, and she said, I'm willing to speak to you, but in private. And he said, no, I want to speak to you in public because this award was put out publicly. So I would like to speak to you in public to see what did I do to deserve the thumbs down.
So in turn, was Fox News the only people? We really gonna believe that Fox News was the only people that reached out to him, or was that who he was?
No, I don't. I never
We
said they were the
we
only
gonna say
one.
Kanye was the only people that reached out to him, and
No,
that's
I never
that was his
said
only
Fox News were
opportunity to
the
speak
only
on it.
ones. My only statement on that was, do we know if any black journalists reached out to him? Because as of yet, I haven't heard one black journalist say, I'm willing to speak to Stephen A to get his perspective on this.
But how will we know that? You know what I'm saying? Unless
Because
somebody jumps out there and says, and if somebody jumps out there and says I couldn't land the interview, then they ruining their job anyway. You can't say, oh, I couldn't get the job. I couldn't get the interview.
I'm willing to sit down and talk with Stephen A. Smith and get to the bottom of this whole thing.
Right.
Okay?
Stephen A.
Yeah, we can say that. Yeah, everybody can say that.
Listen, hold on. We're gonna send this clip to Stephen A. Stephen A., you're more than welcome to come to Real Fans Real Talk or the Sanchez Show to air your grievances and let's speak about the conversation. Now, there's one more thing I want to add on this, right? Again, I am not mad at the NABJ for saying this and doing this. We do need to protect Black women. We do need to stand up for Black women.
Yeah.
My grievance, though, like I said, is this is a very simple, low-hanging fruit moment. Stephen A is a big name. A lot of people don't like Stephen A. Prior to even this award, a lot of people didn't like Stephen A. So it's easy to say, we're going to target Stephen A. Smith. But like I said, in 2024, you had Donald Trump. You invited him to the NABJ convention. Why would you do that when this is a man who's got over 30 sexual assault allegations against him? So are we protecting women or are we doing what's clickbait? Hold on, I'm gonna go a step further. One more thing. I'm a fan of this guy, so I don't want to make it seem like I'm targeting this guy and I got an issue with it. I heard D.L. Hughley make comments about Stephen A. Smith. D.L. Hughley is the same man who's in his book who says, I've never met anyone with a worse attitude than a Black woman. This is the same man who's had public feuds with Monique. I don't hear the NABJ or anybody else coming for D.L. Hughley.
Well, they're not journalists though, so the NABJ.
D.L. Hughley's a stand-up comedian, bro.
Well, I mean, I guess
now
he works in radio. He got
a mic. I know. He won the King of Comedy, original King of Comedy.
You guys are proving my point.
But I think they look at D.L. Hughley as a comedian first that is transitioned into this space.
But you're proving my point. Stephen A. Smith is low-hanging fruit because everybody dislikes him right now. So it's easy to say, oh, we're giving you the thumbs down. But if that's the energy, then keep that energy with everybody.
Are we going to compare Stephen A. Smith's platform as the face of ESPN to D.L. Hughley's platform? We can't do that. Eric, don't do that.
Hold on, you asked me a question. Let me answer. You asked me a question. Let me answer. Does D.L. Hughley not have a nationally syndicated radio show?
Nationally syndicated means in like 8 cities. Yes, he does.
So if we look at it right now, you're telling me
Stephen A. Smith is not on every TV, in home, in hotel room, and everywhere in the face of ESPN. We're not going to compare Stephen A. to fucking D.L. Hughley, bro.
I'm not comparing the reach. I'm not comparing the reach, but you just proved my point. Because Stephen A. is a bigger name, let's do it against Stephen A. We're not gonna go after everybody. We're just gonna go after who would attack. But
that leads to the damage that can be done. What D.L. Hughley says and what Stephen A. says carries different weight. Stephen A. says some shit, that shit goes to the masses. D.L. Hughley says some shit, it goes to St. Louis, D.C., Detroit, New York, Houston, cities with Black people. The only cities that air his syndicated radio station.
Hold on.
Stephen A. is worldwide. Is he not?
Hold on. D.L. Hughley's show is syndicated in 60 cities in the United States.
Oh, my bad, 60. Stephen A. Smith is on every fucking airport TV, hotel TV.
You minimized it and said 8. 60 means you at least in every state.
I mean, I'm speaking profusely. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think that's the word I was looking for.
It might be the word.
I think that was the word. But
it might be. Like I said,
hey, clink. You know what I'm saying? Clink back in the day. But you cannot sit here and tell me that Stephen A. does not have more reach than fucking D.L. Hughley. If you want to hear D.L. Hughley, you gotta look for D.L. Hughley. You gotta look for D.L. Hughley's takes.
When did
You ain't gotta look for Stephen A.'s takes. They in your face.
Hold on. Slow down. Trip, say that again, sir.
When did D.L. Hughley's book come out? When did he say that?
I believe that was 2019, but let me go back and look.
We ain't gonna do this. We ain't about to compare the popularity of Stephen A. Smith to D.L. fucking Hughley.
I don't think we're comparing that. We obviously Stephen A. has.
If you go to an airport right now, all right, I know y'all travel 10:30 in the morning. You go in the airport. Who's on any monitor in any airport bar?
But Will, it's not an argument about who has the bigger platform. We know it's Stephen A. Smith. That's not an argument.
But the platform was the voice, right?
Yeah, but we already know that it's Stephen A. Smith. That's not an argument.
Right, he works for the bigger network.
Yeah.
So how can we compare what his view is?
But I never compared the two. Will
he was just talking about his comments in the book.
I'm using.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Clink.
I'm just using the example. My thing is, see, I'm a big proponent of fair is fair.
Mm-hmm.
Again, Stephen A. Smith has said some super wild shit. We all agree on that. We've talked about it. Will, when you and I text, when this first came out, and I said to you, Stephen A. been saying wild shit for over a decade. That was my first response to you. I'm not defending Stephen A. Smith.
This award, right?
And my response was, I've been stopped rocking with Stephen A. Smith.
Trip, say that again.
Was this the first year they had this award?
No.
Mm-hmm.
Then who cares? Then if this ain't the first year, like if they made this up just to give it to Stephen A., then I'd be like, all right. But this is an award they already had. Stephen A. just got to get out his feelings and move on. We would have been.
This is my point, Trip. Who do you think brought this shit to the masses? Them or him?
But hold on.
No, it was definitely him.
Hold on. I remember, what did I start my statement by saying? Stephen A. is blowing this up into a larger space.
You said that.
But what I'm to play devil's advocate, this is a prime example of what happens when you are disliked. You can turn people against you because social media already doesn't like the person.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is, it's different. I don't feel like we could treat this like a regular social media post, because you got to keep in mind that NABJ is catering towards young journalists who are on the rise, right? A lot of the participants and the people that attend are young journalists, either in college, just out of college, just getting themselves started. You pay an annual dues to be part of the NABJ. So now you're setting an example of like, this is how you do journalism. That's my beef with it. It's not that he got the thumbs down award, because we can highlight a bunch of moments that he has said some wild shit. Mm-hmm. It's the fact that a legitimate organization that is grooming the next wave of great journalists, because there's a bunch of great journalists that are in that room that are going to be the next person we watch on TV or that we read on our phones. That now they're being taught, this is how you do it. You pick a target, you go at them, and then you let social media do the dirty work for you, because that's what they did. That's my issue with it. That you can't tell me, and that's why I use the School B example as well. I'm big on, bro, if I got a relationship with you and I got a problem with you, you guys are my brothers. If I got any issue with you, I should be able to tell you, yo, let's talk. I ain't like what you said there, Will. I ain't like what you said there, Trip. Let's talk. I shouldn't be able to take a jab at you, and then when you say, yo, E, what's up? I saw you said something. Let's talk. Nah, I don't want to talk in public. Let's talk in private. And imagine, Will, I take a jab at you, and then you're like, yo, my nigga, I see you said something on the podcast about me. Let's get on the podcast and discuss it. Nah, I don't want to talk on the podcast though. Let's talk in private.
I agree. Right? I agree with that, but this isn't him getting an award. We're not about to sit and have a private.
It's not a physical award, yes.
That's what I'm saying. We're not about to have a conversation about an award. If I got on a platform and was talking crazy about you, then yes, that's one thing. But this is an award, so think about how many people would want to sit down with the head of the awards and have a conversation about that. They're not doing that. Eric, we as real fans, real talk, have been robbed out of awards. I would love to have spoken to the head of the award show about that, and I know for a fact that we were, because someone who was on the in the voting circle told me that we should have gotten the award, but because we already have gotten so many other awards,
I remember that year.
they didn't want to give us the award. Right. So yeah, I would love to have a conversation, but that is just not how it works. Now, and again, it's not
different
like
to not get an award as opposed to somebody saying, "Hey, you did something that you feel you didn't do."
But he did it.
Again,
the reason
hey, what year was that?
It's not like he didn't do it.
In his opinion, he feels like, yo, I'm being wrongly categorized.
Well, that I can't say nothing to. I can't speak to that point. That's how you feel.
Bottom line, listen, I think we all agree. Again, Will and I text that first day this all came out. Stephen A. been saying shit for a long time that was inappropriate. Yeah. This ain't the first time.
Yeah.
Okay. So we all agree on that. My perspective on it isn't much different than you guys, because I'm not saying he didn't deserve the thumbs down award. All I'm saying is I just don't like the way this is all being handled from the standpoint of you can allow social media to dictate how those relationships go. Yeah. Because if you're telling me you're an organization that stands on integrity, that stands on like, yo, you got to do right by our community, cool, I'm all for that. But then keep that mindset across the board. You can't tell me you get a thumbs down, and it's not even that big of a deal. Like, it's a fucking thumbs down. Like, let's call it what it is. It's not that big of a deal, right? Stephen A. Smith is making millions of dollars, and he's mad about a fucking thumbs down award from the NABJ.
Who put that story out?
But that's the thing. Like,
the NABJ did.
Yeah, it's like I told you, it's on their social media page.
Well, it's on it's the media, social media, and put the story out.
It started with them, and then social media around it.
It's just crazy that they even give up.
If Stephen A. doesn't respond the way he does, then nobody cares.
Right. That's what I was asking.
Listen,
that's what I was asking, Trip.
I 1000% agree, because I started off by stating, if Stephen A. doesn't say anything, he doesn't give it any light.
If he ignores the whole situation, we're not talking about this. Mm-hmm. That's why I was asking who put it out, because it's like he gave it legs. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on, we're about to wrap up because we're approaching 2 hours. We're about to wrap up. It's crazy because Trip, before you started joining the live with me and Will, LeBron gave us a thumbs down, but then he changed it because Trip joined the show. When you started joining the lives, that LeBron,
for real.
Because he know that's how we roll.
I had to stop. Will has set up a whole 30-minute soliloquy going in on LeBron. I'm like, yo, chill. It's not even that crazy. It's cool. It's straight.
And now here we are, man.
And now you're defending LeBron.
Now we are for the people.
You just said LeBron is the greatest at everything that we've ever seen in the NBA.
Yeah.
It crazy. Let's start wrapping up. Give me a funny thought, bro.
The contract with Rich Paul.
Yo, yeah, you are the rich Paul of this show. What we gonna call you? Richie Smalls. We got Richie Smalls out here.
We're gonna call you Rich Young. Rich Young for now.
No, this Richie Smalls. I'm on Richie Smalls out here, man. Hey, commenters. Do you want Rich Young or Richie Smalls? We're gonna create a poll. We're gonna create a poll for it.
Trip,
yo, man, I love you niggas, man. Y'all crazy.
We're about to wrap up. Give me a final thought, Trip.
Oh man, I just love being on the air with my brothers, man. I had a good time today, man. I appreciate it.
Hell yeah, man.
I'm mad the summer's coming to an end. I'm gonna lose my Wednesday nights again. You know what I'm saying, soon, but I always appreciate getting to talk shop with my brother. So salute to you guys, and as always, salute to the supporters.
But you gonna be back on the job? You ain't gonna be rocking on the Wednesday joints no more?
Yeah, the Bible said I got to go to the Lord first, my brother.
Oh man, all right, okay. I can't knock you for that. I can't knock you for that.
Don't say nothing, because I need Trip to pray for the parlays.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to the best to get back in. Football season coming. It's gonna be on.
That might be the new hashtag for the NFL season. Pray for the parlays.
Yeah, for real.
Put that on a t-shirt. I feel like we should put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah, that might be the move right there.
Yeah.
Right for the parlays.
Underdog, put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah, Will, give me a final thought, bro.
Hey yo, always good to rock out with these dudes. Sorry I missed last week, man. You know, life be like it sometimes. Anytime I get to kick it with these guys, it's like life energy. Y'all don't understand how relieving it is, and y'all's participation keeps us going. This is why we do it. You know what I'm saying? And yo, Olivia Miles MVP, baby. You know what it is. You know what it is.
Yeah, I think Miss Miles might have that. Shout out to my brothers as always. Another great episode. Shout out to the comment section. If you guys have not already, the show was rocking so crazy tonight. I never even got to plug anything else. Make sure you are subscribed to Real Fans Real Talk. We're back Monday night, 7 p.m. We got something crazy. Bro, when I tell you I'm not exaggerating, we got something crazy in store for y'all next month. And when y'all see this, I think y'all really gonna enjoy this content that we got coming up next month. Go ahead, Will.
Shout out to the day ones, man. I mean, Shout out to the new supporters. You know what I mean? I ain't learned everybody's names yet, but I see the new names. And that's love, man. Like y'all really understand. Like I go back and watch the shows the next day or whatever. I look at the comments and all. Like y'all be rocking with us. That's love. But and super shout out to the supporters that's been there since day one. I'm a name two right off the top because I don't think they've missed a week ever since me and even way back when me and Eric was first started rocking. Shout out to Kyrie. Kyrie, you hold it down weekly. You be in the comment section early. Shout out to you. I'm gonna rep you on the men's side and on the ladies' side. We gotta show love to Miss Pooh. Shout out to Pooh. And I know your pops be watching too. Shout out to Pops. Like and I'm just shouting out those two because I know they rock. I know there's a lot of other y'all, like other people that rock with us, but I want to just show love. You know, I'm showing love to everybody. But shout out to Kyrie and Pooh. Y'all always rock weekly. We notice this shit. You know what I'm saying? Share the show. Like, you know what I mean? Share it on every platform y'all got. YouTube, Facebook. What else are you on, Eric? Twitch?
Kick. Twitter.
Kick, Instagram, Twitter.
Just put it everywhere.
Yeah, that shit everywhere. Whatever you want. Tinder, share that shit. Put it in your bio.
That's a different show, Will. That's
put it in. Put the link in the bio. Put the link in the bio, man. Put the link in the bio.
We gonna create that. That's a good idea. You just
wherever you at, just say
We're gonna create a dating show.
Whenever you're
we're gonna go live on Tinder. That's a good one.
Yo, the Sanchez show after Sanchez show after night. Hold on. After dark, hold on. What we got going on,
late
man?
Night, late night with Sanchez.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? We can't bring the Trip Jesus stuff in there. Unless
hold on. No, we could. That's Trip come in with the laying of the hands. Remember that episode of Martin? We ain't gonna be no laying of the hands.
Reverend Leon Lonnie love all this shit.
Yeah. He said, due to that Dateline special, it ain't gonna be no laying of the hands.
Reverend Trip Lonnie love all this shit. Damn it, mine eyes.
You hit with it. Satan.
I rebuke you. Satan, I rebuke you, Beelzebub.
Yeah,
hey, I fuck with y'all, man. I love y'all, brothers. Y'all give me relief every week, man. I appreciate you guys, man. I appreciate the supporters, bro.
Fellas, all jokes aside, man. I love y'all, man. Y'all my brothers, man. I love y'all, man. We have another great night. Guys, subscribe to Real Fans Real Talk. We're going to be back Monday night. Next Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. the Sanchez show. And then, like I told you guys, I'm going to drop the new schedule because we're going to revamp. We're going to have more live streams, more episodes as we get into the NFL season. It's going to get hectic, but we're trying to continue the engagement and build on everything we have. And to Will's point, shout out to all the supporters, man. Again, super early in the day, we started getting comments in here. Will, I saw you commented early in here because you noticed like it was already rocking early in the day. And just to shout out Squeeze. The first comment of the night was that first comment of the
Please
day.
too, yeah, my bad.
First comment of the day was at 2:00 this afternoon. So that shows that y'all really rocking with us, man. But for my brothers Trip Young, for my brother Will Gordon, we'll see you guys Monday night, Real Fans, Real Talk. This was the Sanchez Show. Wednesday night with the Sanchez Show. We out of here. We'll see y'all Monday, man. Enjoy the rest of y'all week.